was trying to Google Translate and then play the reading, like so play out loud. That I was saying something like, "My bathtub is leaking." I even had to exaggerate. I have to exaggerate it. That is like it is water is everywhere.
It's the Germany Experience, the podcast about life in Germany as seen through the eyes of outsiders. I'm your host, Sean. Visit the website, thegermanyexperience.de, or email me at info@thegermanyexperience.de. And I'm finally back with a new episode. I took a bit of an unplanned break in March, but now I'm back. And as I mentioned in my update last week, there will be no episode next week, but only one the week after. And that's because I'm going to be away visiting my family in South Africa. My dad is finally going to meet my youngest daughter, who's now 2.5 years old, for the first time. So I am very excited about that. In this episode, my guest is an entrepreneur from Hong Kong who started a platform called BookaLocal after her own difficulties adjusting to life in Germany. She certainly had many hardships, and she discusses them with me, and we'll get to her in a moment. But before that, I wanted to tell you a story that a listener mailed to me that literally made me laugh out loud while I was reading it. Now, one of the things that foreigners face in Germany is dealing with officials, such as at the foreigners office, and so on. But sometimes foreigners can come up against this bureaucracy and this rule-based society very, very early on. Jack is a listener from South Africa, and he is now in Germany. He's since arrived quite recently. But at the time that he wrote me this email, he was still in South Africa. And this is his story of facing German bureaucracy. I just got my German visa last week, and it was my first true run-in with the rule-following society. I got an email from the Consulate General on Thursday saying my visa was ready and the pickup window was Monday to Wednesday 2 to 4 p.m. Now, Friday was the best for me as I am out of town next week. So I emailed and called them, but without response. So I just showed up figuring I will take a chance. Now, knowing Germany, people who have lived here for a while in Germany will know that this is an error. You do not show up unexpectedly for official German stuff outside of the official visiting period. So Jack continues, I explained that I understand their pickup window, but since I am here now in front of them, it would be really helpful if I could just get my passport now. The person who reminded me a lot about Fräulein Rottenmeier from Heidi yelled at me, "This is ridiculous," threw her hands in the air and stormed out the room. She was shocked that anyone would even consider showing up outside the stated pickup window. It was beyond belief to her. So this is in South Africa. These are Germans in South Africa. You would think that maybe because of the local culture, they've got a little more relaxed. South Africans, well, no, this is the same. So Jack continues writing, I figured they probably won't throw me out, and I know my passport is in the building, and I am here, so I just waited. It was like a scene from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Frau Rottenmeier finally came back with my passport and rolled her eyes angrily at me. But I got my passport. Certainly not the last time I will clash with rules I want to bend. It will be interesting once we get to Germany. So I thought that was pretty funny. I especially liked the fact that he got an eye roll. We've all experienced the eye roll, Jack. We know exactly what you're talking about. And I hope you don't experience too many more. Welcome to Germany, and I hope you have a good time settling in. I'd like to hear more from Jack later. Get his experience and thoughts about his time in Germany. Now, on to my guest this week. Her name is Mei Chi, and she is from Hong Kong. When she arrived in Germany, she faced several hardships that highlighted for her the dangers of the language barrier in the beginning for foreigners. Because not understanding German can result in sometimes minor inconveniences, and like the kind of things that make funny stories for later on. And Mei Chi also has a few of those and actually tells me some of her funny stories when she's in our interview. But other misunderstandings can be more problematic, especially when things are time critical. Things like medical things where you have to take care of things now, and maybe you don't understand the urgency of it because you're not quite getting the language. And we talk about some examples of this as well. The point is, Mei Chi's difficulties highlighted how important it is for foreigners to have someone to help them with the language barrier. And that's why she started a platform called BookaLocal, where foreigners can get help with all kinds of things like doctor's visits, dealing with visas appointments, and more, where you can call up a German and they can either speak to the people involved or accompany you on visits as if it was a German friend that you'd asked to come along with you. Now, one of the things that really drew me to BookaLocal when I heard about it is that they also provide pro bono support for foreigners who have dealt with sexual assault. And this also stems from Mei Chi's own experiences in Germany. Now, reporting something like an assault can be difficult enough at the best of times for women, but in a foreign culture and language, it can be daunting and a real barrier to reporting the event. And this is also one of the most important reasons that I wanted to have Mei Chi on, is to make foreigners aware of Mei Chi's own story, but also to make them aware of the possibilities out there to help them with the difficult task of going to the authorities and having to deal with whatever processes come from doing that. As I said, we discussed the hardships Mei Chi experienced in her early years and how she turned these negative experiences into inspiration for starting her own business. And as you've already heard, one of the things we do discuss is sexual assault. And I just wanted to advise you that if this is a topic that is difficult for you to listen to, this episode might not be one for you to listen to. And now, here's the inspirational Mei Chi.
So I'm from Hong Kong, and I think it's no secret that it's been politically unstable in the recent decade. So really long time ago already thought about an escape route for myself. Like I'm not afraid to use that word, because I think this is also such a big topic nowadays that a lot of people in this kind of circumstances, they need like a safe place to have a life.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this is sorry to interrupt you, but this is something that's become a reality in the recent weeks, where we could see that like how quickly these things can occur, that people can be in this kind of trouble, like with the stuff that's happening in Ukraine at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying I was like super smart to anticipate things would go worse. But then when I was smaller, younger, I already thought that, okay, I think the situation is not going to get better. So I've already planned, okay, it's better to plan it than having to escape last minute or like unprepared. So I came here for a master program. So it's always easier to start a new life as a student. That's what I thought. And it was actually already easier because at least I could get some support from the university, like prepping my visa. And also when I have questions, at least there's someone who might be able to answer, but not always. Yes, actually, not always, because at the end of the day, there are so many students and there's only one person working in international office. Not everyone can show up there like, hey, this is my sublet contract from the landlord. Can you take a look for me?
No ways.
Exactly. So this is how I started. I was an international student here during my master. I have to say the first 2 months were quite rough for me because I was in a student apartment alone without a German roommate. It would be easier with a German roommate, I assume.
Yes.
And so the first things I encountered, I learned some German before in Hong Kong, but it was like 10 years before I came here. So it was pretty rusty. So the first thing is the girl who passed her apartment to me, that I was the Nachmieter, she already arranged someone to fix the bathtub. So, but she didn't fix it before she left. She arranged someone to come and fix it. And I was not aware of that. So I just got a guy calling me, talking in German. And like, okay, what is going on? I have no idea. But I understand sometimes when people encounter language barrier, they may think that maybe they raise their voice, then we can hear better.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, you know it, right? Because it's just like maybe even a reflex, because it's like, oh, do you not hear me? Maybe I raise my voice and you can hear me. No, actually, it is the same word, same sentence.
It's not the volume. It's not the volume that's the problem here. It's that I don't understand your language. But it's so true. The Germans do tend, when they get the feeling you're not understanding them, not all of them, but I've been in situations where they say the same thing, but just louder. And I'm like, no, it's like I'm not, I can hear what you're saying. It's just that I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe going slower would help, but louder doesn't help. Yeah. And I remember that day I was actually on the S-Bahn. And it's already not that easy to hear everything on the S-Bahn. But then when he was even
Oh, God,
louder,
yes.
and
Oh,
it's
my
like,
gosh.
oh my God, I was so stressed. And I couldn't understand anything. And then I just have his incoming number. So I just sent it to a friend who speaks a little bit better German than me.
Right.
And then he said, okay, I think it has something to do with the bathtub, but I don't understand everything. Okay. I was like, oh my
Such
God.
a stress.
Okay. And then like, I don't know how long it took because I think later on I figured out, I don't know how, that maybe he was asking me if I was in the apartment that time. But I
Okay.
was not. I was on the S-Bahn.
Yeah.
And then I had the feeling maybe he was showing up already at the door. Anyway, so I had to arrange this appointment with him to fix my bathtub. It was already such a chaos, and I also have to reschedule because obviously I was not at home.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it took at least 3 or 4 times for someone to come and fix the bathtub.
Yeah.
And so it was really stressful because I think for the first 2 times they thought that it is fixed, and it is not fixed. So the water was leaking, and then I had to call the Hausverwaltung. But then the Hausverwaltung only speak German, okay? And then it makes it even worse is that they said that no, you shouldn't be calling us. We don't have you in the system. It is the girl who, like the name of the girl who gave me the apartment. She is the main tenant. You shouldn't be calling us. I said no. I am now officially the
tenant.
Yeah, and I have like everything here. I have the contract number, everything. And then they said no. Like it's already a miracle how I could understand this part. And then I called that girl. The girl is German, so at least she could help me a little bit. And then she said, "No, actually, I registered you in the system. They have everything, and also
Oh, no.
it is the house provider who put my name on the box on the door, so they should
Yeah.
have me." And it's like I was trying to Google Translate and then play the reading, like so play out loud. That I was saying something like, "My bathtub is leaking." I even had to exaggerate. I have to exaggerate it. That is like water is everywhere to make it sound urgent. But we got stuck at the point they keep saying that because I am not the main tenant, I cannot be calling them.
Yeah.
They cannot handle it when it is not the main tenant calling them. Like
it just doesn't check out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there were weeks that I have been cleaning the floor of the bathroom every day because whenever I shower, the water just get onto the floor. And so that was the first thing. Second thing is I think something everyone here has experienced is to get internet installed, like to set up the internet.
Yeah.
Like that person never came, or afterward it just didn't work. There's like you have the box, but you still need like a million other things that you have to register, activation code or something. And then they always tell me different things like, oh, where is actually the activation code? They would say, oh, we sent you a letter already. No, I don't have the letter. And then they would say, oh, actually it's an email. No, I also don't have an email.
Yeah.
And then when I call the third one would say something like, we are encountering some technical update or something. So your internet should work in an hour. No, it doesn't. And also I think it is the pain for a lot of us. That is when we call a customer service number.
Yeah.
It is like you have to know what to press.
Yes.
You don't get to a real person right away. And then the problem is, if you don't speak the language, how do you know what to press?
You don't know what to press. Yeah.
And then you end up talking to the billing department, and then
because you have no idea who you trying to talk to. You have no idea what these options mean.
Yeah, and then they're saying like, no, this is the Rechnungsabteilung, we cannot help you, and then they hang up. Like, and you're like, what just happened?
Now
like,
what?
Yeah. So that is like that loop, and then I think I even made a screen cap that day that I called this internet company. I hope I didn't say the name. Okay, yeah,
no, you didn't.
Okay, good. That internet company, I called them 40 times in the morning.
Oh my God.
Because they are people who hang up on me when I just ask them, do you speak English? The answer is like hanging up. Yeah. Or there was even one time it was so bad that I tried super rusty German.
Yeah.
This person laughed.
Oh my God.
Probably like I could hear that maybe he leaned back. Maybe he was looking at his colleague and laughed.
Yeah.
But I could hear you. I could hear you.
Yeah.
I could hear that. Yeah. And also, I think it happens so much that they say, okay, I'm going to transfer you to my colleague who speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
And then once he press transfer, I can already hear something like, this number doesn't exist or something. And then it's automatically hang up.
then you're out of the loop. Oh my God. And that's just frustrating. That's just frustrating. And the biggest problem with internet problems is that you can't sort it out on the internet because you don't have the internet.
Exactly.
That's what's frustrating about it.
And I tried to use my phone that I ask question on Facebook groups. So there are so many helpful people on Facebook groups. I'm really grateful that they were like really helpful. And then I remember, so that day, I think so I don't know when is when because there's so many times I have internet problem. So one day I don't have internet, so I called them. And then someone wrote that on I just wrote, okay, is there someone who is also using this internet company who has problem today? And then they said, yeah, it happens a lot. And then someone wrote specifically, don't believe it when they tell you that it is a technical or construction problem.
Okay.
They say it all the time. And exactly, so the thing is, there was a woman who took my call after so many different calls. And then she said, oh, okay, so is this just a construction near you? I'm going to transfer you to the technical department. And I said, stop, please. I talked to the technical department just now. They cannot find my customer number because I don't know if they have different system or something. They just cannot find me in the system. And then she said, but I also gave her my customer number and she said she found it. And then she said, actually, I also don't have your customer number in the system. Are you sure you're our client?
Oh my God.
And then I said, well, if you don't have my customer number in the system, you don't know where I live. Why did you tell me that there's a construction near where I live?
Yes, exactly. Hello.
Yeah. And then she hang up.
Standard option. She hang up.
And then she hang up.
Oh my God.
Okay. And then she hang up. Yeah.
So this is exactly the thing. I had similar battles when I came here with the internet. When I first arrived in Germany, we didn't have a permanent address, so I had to get like one of these dongles. And at that time, LTE was just quite new in Germany and all the rest of it, and it wasn't. And I had similar things because the dongle itself didn't work. And I also went through all of these things trying to get that sorted out. And eventually, they gave me a replacement dongle after many times of telling me it's not the dongle, it's not the dongle. Eventually, I convinced them to give me a new USB dongle, and it worked. Like the internet worked. I'm like, this could have been solved. So the problem is that it's a difficult situation even for Germans dealing with customer service in Germany. But if you're a foreigner and you don't speak German and you don't understand these little things, like you just said, like they're going to tell you it's a construction near you, or that they're going to tell you there's a technical Störung or whatever they're going to say. You as a foreigner don't know that, and you can't get around it. So anything that's already difficult becomes 1,000 times more difficult for you as a foreigner in Germany.
Exactly. And also the thing is, I also wonder, is it like they have some fixed lines that they can read out when they handle English-speaking clients? You know, like, okay, maybe just get them
off.
Exactly. Like tell them it's construction. 1 hour later it will be gone. And they're like, okay, bye-bye, like that. So that's my feeling. Actually, I also agree. Like even for the Germans, these things happen, but then it's just a little bit easier, like way easier for them. Like I can see, like when I moved to another apartment with my husband, then I just said to him, hey, because I was so traumatized, I said, you are the one who deal with the same internet company. I'm not going to do anything. So this is the same. Actually, they also gave him different excuses why the internet was not working. Right. And at one point, my husband also asked them, hey, so you're telling me this is the reason, right? So can I have your name so I can call you back if things don't work? They hang up on him.
Yeah, then they're out of there. Yeah, it is. I think it's a very common thing. But that brings us to part of the reasons that you started it. So just give me a brief overview of what BookaLocal is. Maybe you can give me some background about that.
Yeah, so actually, it's obviously based on my personal experience. And I realized that for things like this, actually, it can be helped easily whenever you have someone who can speak both English and German. Yeah. And basically, it is a platform where people can book a local simply just by choosing the time and date. And then just like Uber. So how we want is just do it like Uber, that you will be matched with the local helper nearby. Yeah. But of course, actually, phone call service is quite in demand. So when you need a phone call service, you can just get any German who lives anywhere in Germany to help you. Yeah. So that is how it works. And for phone calls, for example, if you need to get a refund for a company or like talk to your insurance company, or for example, internet doesn't work, things like that, we can have a German speaker to go on the phone and talk with you with the service provider at the same time. Mm-hmm. And for appointments, for example, getting registered, like the address Amedo, a Bürgeramt, or the visa, or checking the apartments with landlord. So all these things, or like there are lots of parents who need help with meeting the teachers, or like visiting kita. So as long as the task has to do with speaking German, we are in.
Yeah. So it's basically the kind of thing where you would ask if you know a German, you've come to Germany and you've got to do something and you need someone to come with you to help you understand what's going on. This would help those people who maybe don't in the beginning know a lot of people who can help them, or they don't want to bother their friends. I think that's also another thing is you don't want to ask all your German friends that you've just met, hey, can you come to the Ausländerbehörde with me and help me out? That's a kind of a difficult thing to ask people.
Exactly. And also, maybe for the first few times, your friends will be happy to help you, but they cannot help you forever.
No.
And second thing is a lot of things are time specific. Let's say,
Yes.
like during office hour, you have to go to Ausländerbehörde, but you cannot ask your friend to take a day off. I mean, even my husband cannot go with me like to everywhere. I also have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Also, there are things like that maybe you don't want to share with your friends. Let's say, for example, someone lost his job and he has to talk to, let's say, Arbeitsamt. Maybe he doesn't want to invite a friend to tell him, hey, I just lost my job. Yeah.
Sure. These are sensitive things.
Mm-hmm.
And something else that you mentioned just now about parents and teachers and stuff like that, I know that is also a huge thing for foreigners. A lot of foreigners would send their kids to an international school, but if that's not an option, their kids are going to German school. I know my kids are going to German. They went to German kita and kindergarten and school here. And you get a lot of communications from the school, and there's a lot of teacher meetings. And if you don't, it's an important thing. It's the well-being of your child. You need to make sure that you're getting that right. Like you want to make sure that you're understanding everything. And I think that's a very difficult thing for foreigners, as it is with kids who are going into the German education system, is understanding everything around what's happening with their kids.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that some foreigners, they may have the mentality that they take a chance that, okay, maybe I understand everything, or maybe I don't understand everything. So they take a chance and then they just go there, may not, and then they know that they may not understand everything. But for parents, a lot of them, they're more responsible and they want to do everything the best for their kids. So they don't want to take a chance. And for example, let's say if the teachers talk to them about the issues that the kids have at school, you don't want to just understand 50%. You want to understand everything, and you want to be able to raise questions.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, we also have parents who ask our helpers to join them at a medical appointment. And the parent also shared with us that the medical treatment was kind of delayed unnecessarily because of the language barrier. He took this kid to the same place before. He didn't understand what the doctor said. He didn't understand how serious it was, or what needs to be done, or what the next step is. Like, does he go to another doctor or go to a hospital or something? Yeah. And the thing is, when our then the helper shared with me later that the problem escalated, got more serious, because and the doctor said, he should have this surgery like long time ago already, but he didn't understand. Yeah. And then the next one is already that they need to make an appointment with a hospital, not just a clinic, but a hospital, because of the seriousness of the problem, and the problem was postponed, delayed. Yeah. So that's why I understand a lot of parents use our service to avoid making mistakes, and also to get things done correctly and also on time.
Yeah. I mean, with things like internet problems or getting your phone connected, that's more of an inconvenience, or people showing up to fix your bathtub and you don't understand what the workflow is or where it is. That's all kind of like an inconvenience, and things that can later become, interesting stories that you tell about your initial time in Germany. But when it comes to these medical issues and a lot of other time-sensitive issues, there's things that have to be done. You have to realize that this is an urgent thing, and you might not pick it up from the German, like you were saying. Like if they're explaining to you in German and you're understanding 50% of it, you're not getting it. Okay, this is something that is vital and important. In fact, I can remember I've got a special needs kid. He's 11 years old now, and he was born here in Germany. And in the beginning, we didn't know he was a special needs kid, but we knew his development was delayed. Mm-hmm. And at some point, they were telling us, your child has got special need, but because we weren't understanding from the get-go, we maybe didn't realize the severity of it. This is an example from my own thing that I can think of. where we didn't quite get the severity of what they were trying to tell us. And, for us, it's like, okay, our kid is going to catch everything up. He's going to be developing normally. He just needs a bit of extra time. When some of the specialists were actually saying, no, I think there's a bigger problem here, and I don't think it's something that can be caught up over time. And this is something that would have been, I think, good for us to understand earlier, just from both what kind of therapy we sought out for him, and also to a psychological, to come to that acceptance for us as parents about what's going on with our son. And this is something that I think foreigners don't think about. They don't think that that's what they should be doing. They think, okay, I'll get what I can and I understand it. And in fact, the worst is when you think you understand and you actually don't.
Exactly.
That's almost the worst.
Exactly. And also sometimes it is like also a problem when you try, or let's say you have taken some classes and you're trying your German, which is good. We should always try our German even we're not sure, because it's how we learn the language. There are some harmless situations that is okay that you misunderstand something. For example, like there was one time I think I was trying to, it was a hot summer. I was trying to order a iced coffee. I think maybe somehow she understood as a iced coffee.
Which is like the opposite.
Exactly. But okay, that is harmless. And then there's also a funny story, like some time ago, my husband is a little bit, sometimes he's not like a really typical German, that he doesn't really follow rules sometimes. I also don't like it when he, like, for example, I ask him, okay, bring these boxes to the recycling bin. But then sometimes he just put the boxes right in front of our door.
Oh my God.
Exactly. And then he said, okay, I will do it after, like later. And then he just never does it. Sorry if he's hearing.
That is not very German.
Yeah. And then, so the boxes are there. I'm also like used to it. Okay. He's German. Maybe he knows how to communicate with the neighbor.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one day I was walking the dog. So I just opened the door, and maybe my neighbor heard that I was going out. So the neighbor opened the door. The neighbor said something like, hey, in German, something like, so do you need those boxes? And then I said, oh, actually, no. And then I was also like checking the box. Actually, it's empty, because I want to make sure it is not something that my husband is going to put in the basement or something. And I said, oh, yeah, okay, they're empty. Okay. And then I thought I understood he said something like, if you don't need it, maybe I can use it or something. Yeah, because I was not listening carefully, and there's echo in the corridor, and I was like, oh, okay, something like that. And then I walked the dogs. After I walked the dogs, and I came back, and the boxes are still there. If he wants the boxes, maybe I should put it in front of a door, so then he knows he is welcome to take them. Maybe I didn't make myself clear that he's welcome to take them. But then I was really not sure. So good that I didn't do anything. I just went home. Then later on, I talked to my husband. I said, can you ring the bell of that neighbor and ask him if he still need the boxes?
Oh my God.
And my husband said, no, I'm pretty sure he's just giving us a warning to throw it away.
Yeah, well, I just put them in front of their door.
Yeah, imagine if I did it.
Oh, that would have been brilliant. Yeah, but that's exactly the kind of thing that happens. Is you think you've understood the exchange, and you walk away and you really haven't, and it can lead to real, that, like you said, harmless things. Like, that's a harmless example, but there are other situations where you need to go. That's why I think that this service is very cool, and specifically around the German language, where you can have people helping you in the language. Is it specifically in a certain city, or is it all over Germany at the moment?
For our phone call service, is basically available for the whole country. For our in-person appointments, we have it covered in Berlin, and we are also expanding to Hamburg.
Okay.
But we need more local helpers in order to cover our services in other cities.
Yeah.
And I also want to share, because I think this part is also an important piece of information for a lot of people, because it is not an easy topic to talk about. That how not understand something can lead to a big consequence. How I say it. That in 2018, I was molested by a doctor.
Oh my God.
In Berlin. And then actually I think I was already calm enough to lay out a plan what I should do. That day I already talked to a friend of mine who is a lawyer. And then actually I because I had a car accident, so there are different kinds of doctors who are taking care of me. So I talked to another doctor about what this doctor did to me, to also just second check was it an assault? Because maybe he can defend it is not. But then the other doctor said, no, it shouldn't happen. It is an assault. So this doctor referred me to a place. I would rather not name that place. Okay.
Sure.
So like a place where I can file a complaint. Okay. And the doctor also said to me, yeah, it's important that you do it. Please do not do it just because you are scared of the procedure or something. Okay. So I made this complaint. One thing that I really wanted to stress, how I instruct our local helpers is also like, this is also one thing based on my personal experience, that I want that our local helpers support the foreigners, not just giving them the translation, but also be on their side. Imagine you're solving a problem for a friend, not for a customer, or like not just translate it. Because I remember when I was in that place to give out my statement, what the doctor did to me. That place, they have like a lawyer to represent represent that place, not represent the doctor. They were questioning why I was wearing a tank top and a skirt, but the skirt was not even short. But the thing is, I have to defend that because I have a car accident. I don't want to wear skinny jeans because it hurts my back to do
But
anything.
you shouldn't even have to be explaining that, to be fair. Like
Exactly. And the thing is, I know everyone has their own have their own personal opinion. That translator was even siding with the lawyer, like, why did you wear a skirt to a doctor's office? I was
my
like,
God.
why am I not allowed to? And why do I even have to explain that? And then actually in the statement, I even had to explain, I actually had the jacket on. I only took it off in the office. Like, I don't know why I should explain that part anyway. So actually, it hurts me even more that the lawyer asked that, and the translator sided with her, kind of give me the facial expression, you shouldn't have done it. Like, why? So that's why I also stress on the helpful part, like helping as a friend. You wouldn't say that to your friend. You wouldn't side with the lawyer in that situation.
No.
You should even ask them to stop. Like, this is inappropriate question. Anyway, so at the end, I had the feeling that they are siding with the doctor anyway, and I asked them, okay, so I actually want to go to the police about it. But then they said, no, actually, you don't have to go to the police because he's a doctor and we are the organization that takes care of it, and this is the right place. You came to the right place. Okay, anyway, so I did my statement in early 2019. I only got a letter from this place in 2020 in the summer, after 1.5 years, that they said they believed in what I said. They believed. But then because of privacy, they cannot tell me what they have done to the doctor. But from what I can see, he's still a doctor. Okay, so I think there's no serious consequence. And then that time, after I received that, I tried to contact lawyers. And also because I have legal insurance, I asked them, okay, so maybe this is something strong because at least there's someone believe. Because the thing is, I got some source of info that I'm not the only patient who complained about this doctor. So I thought there's like a good, it helps, I thought, when there are more victims. But actually, he's still a doctor. I don't know why. Anyway, and then I contacted some lawyers, but with my lawyer, the legal insurance. But the thing is, they only spoke German. And with this kind of insurance, they only answer calls during office hours. So not my husband couldn't help me. And I thought I understood what they said. I thought that what they said to me is, oh, you didn't report this case 3 weeks after what happened, so now there's nothing you can do.
Okay.
Okay,
wow.
that is
which is also a huge thing to understand. Like, think, wow, there's nothing I can do anymore because I didn't report it.
Exactly. And they also said, oh, did you report to that place? And I said, yeah, I did. Nothing happened. Anyway, so that is what I understood. And then it was 2020. And in 2021, I happened to be a witness of a case, and then I talked to the police at the police station, gave my statement, and I mentioned something similar happened to me because it also has something to do with sexual assault. And then the police asked me to describe what happened, and the police said, oh, this is actually serious. That place shouldn't be the place that handled this case.
Oh, no.
And then and I said, oh, and then he said, why didn't you do anything? I said, well, when I talked to a legal insurance, they said this to me, that I cannot do anything because it's 3 weeks gone. But then the police said, no, you got it wrong. But the thing is, I wouldn't know if I understood it wrong because of the language barrier, or they told me the wrong information. I wouldn't know. Yeah. But it was really, really good. I really appreciate the police that they opened the case for me really efficiently, and then they invited me to make a statement. And I have to say that this, because of the case is building again, of course I go back to Google and see if this doctor is still there.
Yeah.
And I saw there are reviews that there are 2 people writing that the doctor molested them the same way that he did to me.
Oh my gosh.
So imagine if something could have done earlier,
Yeah.
this wouldn't happen again. Yeah. And it's by two other, like one is a woman who wrote about herself. The other one is a boyfriend writing what happened to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, first of all, that is a horrible thing that happened to you. And then also it's compounded by these kinds of things that go on, this feeling of helplessness that you would get if you were told, or understand you were told, if you didn't report it after 3 weeks, then there's nothing we can do. I mean, that's a hard thing to deal with, I should imagine, as well. And also to sit there being questioned about something when you're coming forward with something like this, and having, like you said, feeling like the whole room is against you, not just the lawyers, but also your own translator. That is just, I mean, that's just the thing. And I think this is the difficult thing with sexual assault. And your BookaLocal offers pro bono support for people who have been in the situation of sexual assault, which I think is a very important thing, and something that that one of the reasons why I was glad that you're a guest here, so that we can inform people about this, is that I think it is, like you said, and experienced yourself. If you're a foreigner here, you don't always understand. I mean, sexual assault is a difficult thing to deal with as it is, but then also you don't know what the right processes are, and you're getting information from people. It's already taking a lot of courage to go and sit there in a room like that, and then to not understand fully what's going on and not to have someone on your side. I mean, that is a huge thing that could lead to people not reporting it, because I mean, how do you formulate that in German is also something that would maybe go through your mind. Like, how do I explain this in German that people understand what I'm trying to say? And meanwhile, you might not have to. They've got all kinds of things for interpreters and stuff once you get, but the foreigner mindset would be, maybe it's easier just not to say anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Like for that place that I reported to, the first place, they arranged a translator for me, but then they just disregard the fact that Mandarin is actually not my language. They actually gave my mother tongue is Cantonese, and actually they gave me a Mandarin translator, and actually I made it specific that because they said that I told them on the phone that my mother tongue is Cantonese. But I said, I think the Cantonese community is really small. Maybe it's not easy for them to find someone. They can get me someone who can speak English. But then they just got me a Mandarin translator. And actually, the translator didn't even fully understood what I said. Even like something like X-ray, she couldn't understand it. But then for the police, actually, they arranged someone just like give me a translation between English and German. So it was pretty good. Yeah. So for some places, they do offer a translator for free already, but for me, I would say it is the whole thing in our mind. What is the first step? Like taking the first step already, there's already a language barrier, like writing to the police, and also the police send us letters, and then we have to fill in some forms and something like that, and it's all in German. And also, for example, talking to the legal insurance, if someone is lucky enough to have the legal insurance covering, we also have to ask, okay, does it cover this and that? And what is the next step? Because none of us know better than the lawyers. It's always better to talk to the lawyers. And also, as you said, it's difficult for people to take the steps. And for me, I considered myself as a person who was ready. I was really ready to do anything to just stop this doctor being a doctor, because he shouldn't be a doctor.
Absolutely.
Because like so many people, so many women take off their clothes in front of him every day. And I just want to stop this from happening. And I was willing to do anything to go through the whole process. But still, language barrier gets in the way. And imagine for some people, they are not sure if they can go through this process. On top of that, this language barrier, it really discouraged them.
Yeah, that's huge. So I guess that's why you're offering this pro bono
Yes.
thing, so that people know, if foreigners know, and I think it's good to get the word out that foreigners know that there's an option. If something like this happens to you, you have an option of having someone at your side for free.
Yep.
This is something that BookaLocal does for free. They give you a local that can go through this process with you and help you deal with that. And I think that's a huge help.
Yeah, because we also want to eliminate this language barrier in their mind, because sometimes it's in their mind that they anticipate that it's going to be difficult. I have this idea because I was reached out by a woman who had this experience, because I also like, she wrote it anonymously in a Facebook group, and then she specifically wrote that she had this experience, and she's not sure her super basic German is going to get her through the whole process.
Yeah.
So I wrote to her. Actually, that time I didn't start the whole pro bono idea thing. I just gave her the idea that, hey, please go to the police directly, because this is my experience. Please, and like the police will help you. So that is why I talked to the police later. It's because of that thing that I helped this friend. And then later on, actually, she used our service. I didn't know, because I just wanted to keep her, like, her identity anonymous. So I didn't even keep anything. And then later on, actually, she booked our service. I didn't know that, because I wouldn't go through and check all the customers.
Right.
And then it was like way later that I talked to her again, that I realized that, oh, actually, you became our customer. And exactly that our helper helped her read something from the police to fill in the form. Then I realized that there's such a need, and it helps people to know that these things is available. So that's why I make it pro bono.
Yes, and looking at your website, it's booka-local.com. I will link to the website in the show notes where people can go and have a look. And if you're also got good German, then you could also, and you've been in Germany for a while, maybe you can also become a local on the site. But all the information is there, and what you need, and what the services that they provide are. And I think that I must just say that I think that you're incredibly courageous for everything that you had to go through and what you did afterward. But not only that, but then providing a service that helps across the spectrum, from those little harmless inconveniences or things that make life difficult in the beginning to Germans because of what you experienced, and then going on to offering this pro bono service for people who have been sexually assaulted or are in these kind of difficult situations, also because of what you've experienced. I think that's an amazing thing to give back and try and help people in similar situations.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So as I said, all the details are in the show notes. Are you on Instagram? Can people get in touch with you on Instagram?
Yes, we are active on Instagram.
All right. So I'll put all the details in the show notes. Get in touch. And yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and speaking so honestly. I know these things are difficult topics to talk about, so I do appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for giving me the platform to share my story.
And that's it for this week. I will be back in 2 weeks' time. Auf Wiedersehen.